Welcome back to your Rams LAFB show. I'm your host, Ryan Anderson. She's Erin Coscarelli. We've got breaking news to share with you guys. Big Rob Havenstein, right tackle, 11 seasons with the Los Angeles and St. Louis Rams, has retired, officially announced his retirement via Instagram. Just initial thoughts, Erin. What do you think? I mean, not a huge surprise?
No. Not a huge surprise. Obviously, it's a legacy being hanging it up. I think he's only the second that's coming from St. Louis, right? I mean, then that basically is a wrap on St. Louis Rams. But he was always referenced a lot of times during our press conferences because of what he meant to Sean McVay as a leader. I remember specifically, we probably did a post-game or practice report on it. He had said something about he would want his son to handle and be as mature as how Havenstein handled this season. Imagine going deep into the postseason, not being available. He said the way he led this team, whether he was on the field or off the field, was so admirable. So 11 seasons, I mean, that's putting in some work with both, coming from St. Louis and helping kind of lead the next era of men with McClendon over there on the right side. And it's always bittersweet, but I think it probably makes sense. It's time. After 11 years, he'd been battling some injuries. How are you feeling about it all?
I so often think of these things just in terms of the team building. And, the word that came to mind was tidy. This is a nice way to wrap it up for this. We saw Warren McClendon come in and play well. We'll talk a little bit more about that as well. His contract was coming up to an end, so he was going to have to go into a contract negotiation if he wanted to stay with the team or move on to another team. Obviously, fans never want to see, a veteran move on to another team. So that, that takes care of that. And then the Rams don't have to extend them. They can look to the future. So, I think given, over the last several years, having missed a bunch of time playing on average just about 13 games over the last 4 or 5 seasons. So there's that side of it, which is where my mind goes first. But then, there's his side of it. And so just from his Instagram post, 11 years, 150 plus starts, 4-time team captain, 4-time NFC West champion, 2-time NFC champion, and a Super Bowl. What a ride it's been. I can look back on my career and smile knowing I've given everything I had and more to the game I love.
Yeah.
I'm officially retiring from the NFL. So, and he posted a lovely picture of his wife and kids. And, that always brings it back to the human element, which we always have to touch upon because these are men. These are humans, flesh and blood every day of their lives, as much as they are warriors out there on the field. And so, I had brought it up before when talking about Stafford in his retirement and having a chance to talk to one of the NFL wives about what's that like. And, she did not mince words. It's like some of the hardest conversations she had with her husband about his retirement. It's, but what a career, 4-time team captain. I mean, I love team captains. You earn that right. That you don't just get it, so.
Yeah. And think about it too, guys. Wives share their spouses with us, the fans, and they sacrifice their bodies, their mental health, their emotional health, and obviously their physical health. And I looked it up. It's Jack McQuaid. So unless they re-sign him, Havenstein is the last of a St. Louis Ram franchise, on offense to play. And I think to me, it's interesting always on the other side, how these guys end up coming to that decision. You think about it too, even when you have a guy like, let's say, Davante, Davante's talked about he wouldn't retire if Stafford comes back. So it's kind of leading to a good sign. Stafford or Davante would most likely come back. And again, we keep teasing you guys at home. We're going to do a show on contracts.
Next
But
week.
we're doing it this week. Yeah. Okay.
Next week, I think.
Next week. Yeah. Next week. Okay. Yeah, I think it's just interesting to weigh in all that goes into a decision like that. And the Rams making it all the way to the NFC Championship. And he kind of sort of brought McClendon along, which, that was always sort of the thing I sensed when McVay would talk about him. It kind of, I've started to understand coach speak, certainly McVay speak. And the way McVay always kind of gives guys his flowers is he really does talk about what he's learned from his players, his guys, and the leader as a leader of men. He's always kind of giving so much credit. And anytime Havenstein was getting brought up as, hey, is this guy going to return? He kind of would sort of transition into how he admired him. So I was kind of getting the sense we weren't going to really see much after that. But look, I think you kind of have to pivot and look towards the future and look towards, feeling like, do you think the Rams feel comfortable with their offensive line? Where would shifts or changes be made when it comes to that? There were some moments, where I think Stafford was getting pressure from certain teams. Certainly, as you mentioned, good defenses, but I thought they didn't do a great job against Carolina Panthers. Even the Falcons kind of got after him a little bit. So, it'll be interesting to see how they shape up the future. And we've talked about this a lot, Ryan. It's like, how do you build and contend at the same time? And I think no team does it better than the Rams. But boy, man, they're going to miss Havenstein in that locker room for sure.
Yeah, 100%. He was never, the biggest or flashiest star on this team. But, one of the things that you love to see from a guy is, sticking with the team through multiple iterations of that team. There, multiple times they could have moved on from him, but, surviving from the Jeff Fisher era into the McVay era, several, changes at, offensive line coach specifically. I got to shout out Ryan Wendell all the time for his great work that he does and the work that he's done with Warren McClendon specifically. But just a guy that's stuck around, stayed loyal, pretty durable throughout the years. And, Warren McClendon becomes the kind of the incumbent to earn this position. McClendon filled in for him this season a lot. He missed several games. Havenstein did. So, Warren McClendon really emerged this season, ranked first among NFL right tackles in pressure rate. He allowed 0 sacks all season when he was in there. So, they have their next right tackle in there. Now, McClendon, he is on the last year of his rookie deal. He's going to be a 1 year, $1.2 million cap hit. And then they'll have to renegotiate with him as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that going forward. But yeah, I mean, this is one of the great undertold Rams stories is Rob Havenstein, drafted in the second round in 2015 and just, kept going, good seasons, bad seasons. But ultimately one of the more dependable guys in the league. You don't see a lot of 11-year careers. So hats off to Rob Havenstein.
Yeah. Yeah. And how lucky McClendon got to learn from a guy like him, So I think that's always so important when Rams and McVay and Snead talk about what guys they want in that locker room. They always say character first. And, to kind of rear your heir apparent, your future, which is never easy to do. McClendon's success falls solely on the shoulders of Rob Havenstein. By the way, I still don't have my voice yet. You said it sounds better. To me, it still sounds terrible, but appreciate you.
Incrementally better. We're just trying to be better than yesterday. A little coach speak there. Well, folks, hats off again to Warren McClendon. Go show him some love on Instagram. Tell him everything he meant to you guys over there for sure. And Warren McClendon, probably the right tackle. I'm guessing so. We'll see what happens. But until there's more breaking news, that's the Rams LAFB show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Ramley, thank you so much for hanging out with us and watching the Rams LAFB show. Quickly before you go, got to tell you about our friends over at Sleeper. It's the #1 sports app right now, and you've got to download it because it's got so many great features that I want to tell you about. Aside from season-long fantasy, which is the best in the business, they've also got live score trackers, in-game updates, plus the live chat where you can actually communicate with other users right on the app. But perhaps the best feature, at least that I like, is the daily fantasy feature or the live pick'em. Just pick 2 to 8 players across any sport, baseball, basketball, hockey, obviously football and our Rams. You're going to choose a player, just choose more or less. Matthew Stafford, more or less passing yards. Kyren Williams, more or less rushing yards, more or less touchdowns. 2 to 8, you can win real money. So when you go to make your first deposit, make sure you use our promo code RAMSLAFB. And Sleeper's going to give you a match bonus up to $100. So you deposit $100, they're going to give you $100 free. You're now sitting at $200. You put in $10, they're going to match you $10. You're now sitting at $20. But on top of that, right now, Sleeper is offering all new user signups a $20 free entry, no deposit required. Go sign up. You're automatically invested $20 straight from Sleeper. But you can stack that offer with that match bonus offer to add more money. Just make sure to use that promo code RAMSLAFB. Go check out Sleeper. Download it today. Tell them the guys at the Rams LAFB sent you. And as always, Ramley, thank you so much for making us a part of your day.